Hey up, everybody. You got the Lady Hippy here, and I am at my bar. Favorite place to be. It's at home. No Uber involved. I'm not sure if I've got sound right yet this morning. I just popped in. Let's see. Sounds like to me a little bit of an in the can kind of talk. Sometimes I can't tell. Some people can't understand me. It's for entertainment purposes only, everybody. If you see it, like, share, dislike, I give a shit. So do what you want. Whatever makes you happy. That's what everybody should do. This makes me happy. And I know somebody out there is going, why? Because I grew up in an age where if you wanted to be heard or just wanted to speak on whatever was happening in the world, you just opened your front door and screamed, and maybe two or three of your neighbors heard it. That was it. Couldn't call across the street because that was long distance back then. No, I'm not kidding. You can't make that stuff up. I'm fidgeting. Always fidgeting. I haven't been on in a couple of days. Thanks for noticing. Yeah. I'm wondering about just taking weekends off because I'm still doing the same thing I did when I worked and so forth, which is run through and clean home for 2 days. Wonder how the hell come I got to do it for 2 days. I took my bedroom apart, the master bedroom. Now we have heavy duty cherry wood furniture in the master bedroom. The headboard reaches nearly to the ceiling. It's just massive. And then, of course, you have the big dresser and the huge mirror. Even our bar said it's huge. And you get this huge mirror for both of those. So I wanted to sweep or vacuum uh, and clean under there, get the shampooer out because they hadn't been done in like a year. And yes, dust gets there. I don't know how, even with a dust ruffle that I put into them. So everything had to come out. Well, it turns out I had a whole room full of shoes. I mean, a whole room full of shoes stuffed under the bed. Shit I had never seen. I think Robert put a few of his under there just to fuck with me. So, no, I don't apologize. That's why there's no kids allowed on this. I've been having, I see you, I see me. I see you. You see me? Remember that old still with the mirror? Okay. Yeah, somebody looked that up. It's a children's show on PBS in the mirror thing. I can't remember what the heck it was. A long time ago. Thought she was silly when I was like 7 or 8. So, I'm not sure why I'm mimicking her today. If you've noticed, I've been rocking back and forth, even though I'm sitting down. And I took one of my pills that the VA kindly started me on after like 5 months of doing nothing. Then they threw like 20 scripts at me, and I'm throwing them back. Just you keep that. You keep that. It's ridiculous to, for me anyway, to write a prescription for calcium. You can buy Nature Valley calcium all day long. There's no need for that little red bottle, but they send it anyway. You really can't argue with them because the good shit's in there somewhere. You hope. I actually have two good ones. The Gabby Penton's really good, and the not the Everstat. I can't remember the other one. It's at Ellaville. I take at night, and it does help sleep. I didn't think I was going to get sleep last night. It took forever. Yeah, you could tell. This don't. No. So I'm rocking it in hopes to, I guess, ease my pain. It's just an old device. I think it's from women who've had kids because I've noticed I've done that. But when I think about it, I think I've done it for my whole life. It's kind of a calming thing. I don't know why. Maybe there's a guru who could, throw in the comments. I don't know. But when I'm in a great deal of pain and determined to get through the day, and I noticed that it was already noon when I popped through, I generally like to come in between 10 and 12 because, again, I'm trying to get caught up. So, as I said, it was take mattresses off and get up under there, vacuum and shampoo and then do the outside because you got to put the mattress back. And we're too old to carry them over to 3 rooms away. So, it was flip them on either side and do that one section, which is why I wanted the master bedroom rather to. We redid the floor and then the master bath too, but I wanted wood floors everywhere. At my age, is it difficult to vacuum at all and then to go in and shampoo? I've been shampooing our carpets since I can remember, over. around 40 years. I've done it myself. I still had a professional because I'm doing it like every other weekend. That's hard enough on the nap. I wore this one out after a decade. It's been 2 years with almost with the wood flooring, and I adore it. My cats surf on the rocks. They do this Indy 500 thing, and then they come on in, and it's like they're playing a baseball game and a race car event. So they, they kind of, I got to do a video of that sometime. And it won't be just one. There'll be five, 4 or 5. The oldest one, our Serenity, she'd be leading the way. She's nuts. She was always nuts. I mean, we got her at 6 weeks old, and she didn't move for like 3 days. She was just limp, and I was about to go back and find out what was wrong. She had been, of course, drugged, and so it was a mess. And so she was named Serenity, but when she woke up, that bitch was pissed. She has never gotten over that. She is still pissed. She's got this snarl on her face. She's like a foot from me most of the time still after almost 12 years. So she's a mess. So get the bedroom and all that done. And I'm on my last bit by that point. And again, I'm doing the rocking thing. When it gets this bad, I can't even sit up. And laying down even is terrible. I generally will lean over the bed and pray that the medicine will dial it back enough to maybe get an Epsom salt bath and what have you. They don't seem to, from all I've been told, it's arthritis of some severe type, but that is in the spinal column in a particular spot. I don't know where that is. I was struck there by a roller coaster chair, and that's never been right. Ever since, it's been painful since then. It was like I was 33, somewhere around 30 something. Anyway, flash by. Don't let me. Y'all gonna have the same thing. I don't care if you're 15, if you're lucky. I didn't think I'd get this far, and I look around now, and I'm really glad I made it this far. I get some of my money back from the government, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. As long as it's with their say so, assholes. So that whole thing was me explaining that I actually have a lot of back pain today. I've done 5 loads of laundry already. I've swept and mopped 3 rooms. I'm tired and it's only noon. I don't like this 60 something thing. Um, but it would walk right up and slap. I mean, bitch slap you now. You won't just, might 2 or 3 times until it was happy you were doing what I want. So I'm like, wow. I thought I'd be over it. But the day before that, I got all this cat food and litter. So that was 40, 50 pounds, 3, 4 times to get it to the car, pay for it, get it in, all that. And that was with Robert, bucking in and grabbing it from the trunk. You got to put it in your car, and you got to take it out of your car to get it in the car. So, by the time I do that, even with him helping, I'm bad. He bought me a wonderful massager and heat from, I forget where it's from. I think it's through Amazon somewhere, but it's a good store, and he got it for Christmas, and it wraps around you. I have another one too, but it's too hot in summer. It does the same thing. It wraps all around your shoulders, your waist, all the way down. And I love that one too, and it does the same thing. And so, I end up in back there after I've soaked for a little while, and I usually end up making my golden milk. I call it golden milk. Look it up. It's really good stuff with turmeric. It tastes great. And I keep raw honey. Everybody should look that up too. I don't have time. If you want to know, ask me. I'll go into it further. I'm in a mood, and I'm seeing that I'm not fidgeting as bad as I thought I would. I almost didn't come up today because, like I said, the last 2 days I've been writhing in pain by 11, 12 o'clock, and I'm not in the mood to do anything but try to finish my day. And my day is really technically for me finished as well as I can do it by 4 o'clock. And then I take care of the other stuff that I do after 4 o'clock. So I'm usually not downtime until 8. Yeah, but I have to sit from 3, 4 o'clock, to do the stuff between 7 and 8 or whatever. It's about another hour's worth of work to clean up, make sure everybody's got water and all that stuff. And so, yeah, Robert's not doing well. His neck's hurting him, his head, back of his neck. Apparently, at our ages, we just go, it hurts, and that covers it. There's no point in saying why, where, what, who, how. None of that applies. So we just hurt. He's knocking on 70. I'm knocking on 55. Shut up. It's early. So, does say entertainment purposes only, right? I'm just checking. I don't make any money at this shit. No, I'd like to. If there's any hints, throw them in comments. Hit the like, hit the bell. Come on, they like that. Subscribe is free. They like that. The channel algorithms, whatever the hell that is. I did not do well at math, and I don't intend to start now. Get me another stiffener, which is why I was explaining why I'm writhing in pain up here. And sometimes instead of knowing when to get off, I just go faster. So old age hates me. So I had a little bit of my stiffener. And again, I usually show everybody. So if you haven't been here before, it's my little airplane bottles that my husband gets me. And it's a whiskey fireball. A whiskey with this huge burst of cinnamon. It's just fracking awesome. I love this thing. And for some reason, when I'm in a lot of pain like this, and I'm still, like I said, trying to get through, just as if I were working out of the home, I still got to make it to 4 or 5 before I can at least get into something comfortable. And you won't believe how many pajama sets I have. Silk, satin. It's just, I love them because I love lounging in my pajamas. So it has to be that type of stuff. And the lovely kind of robes that you would probably see in a 1940s or 50s movie. I like those. They're very ladylike and yet cons- constricting view, but still beautiful. And so that's a hard one to pull off at my age. Maybe I don't pull off real well. Nobody says so. That's kind of. But you think it is. And so I said, all right. I was not going to get up here after a little bit of an absence of 2 days and say, what y'all want to talk about? Because if y'all want to talk about some shit, you would have should have done said so. A little cigarillo, cheroot, whatever we want to call them. Little cigars in English. I love these things. This is black and mild with the wine taste. I like the wood tip better. Get a little bit more better taste. You can't really drink wine. You got to be a connoisseur to drink wine. You got to want to drink wine well enough to keep it in your mouth, swallow it, and keep doing it. Especially for one, the taste of every wine I've ever had, and two, the hangover. I'm still a connoisseur of wine, and I love a very good whiskey. There's several that I like. I like Glenfiddich, so I like a good Scotch. I like mine just plain. I don't want it on the rocks. I want none of that stuff. Just put it in just put it in a little thingy because I won't drink it now. I'll play around with that stuff. I'm not sipping shit. But at my age, I have started sipping a little bit. My little fireballs. Today, I'm using a cut crystal um, shot glass. I have so many, and they don't get used. And I decided that after a while, my flask was full of 7. I had Jim Beam, I had Jaguar, I had all of the whiskeys, and I had Glenfiddich. My grandson had bought for me for Christmas, so I drank that whole damn thing. It took me about 3 months, but I did it. Well, it took that long because I liked it. So one of the few I would savor. But I just don't see the point in putting a good whiskey or scotch, what have you, on the rocks, unless you're really just very, very thirsty and you just need a little hydration as well. But if you're going for a good, nice, stiff drink that's a good fire hose, just do it straight up if you can handle that. A lot of women can nowadays. They surprise you, don't they? A lot of us can drink your ass on those able, which could conveniently be said almost about my husband, but he's been keeping his hand in. So. Oh my goodness. Cheers. Oh, yeah. That cinnamon ball is just woo. A little sweet, a little heat behind it. Y'all should look it up. I think it's Jim Beam, but I couldn't swear to that. They just call it Fireball. What is it? Fireball cinnamon whiskey, yeah. If I could read the little label, I could tell you more. You could probably Google will fill in the rest. Google has everything. I've become a veterinarian. I shit you not. I shit you not. I don't think the people realize that, and they should have. It's actually after the pandemic, the COVID-19, that China virus. If you can call it the Spanish fucking flu, I can call it the damn China virus. Get a grip. Get over it. The world is a piece of shit right now. You want to protest something? Come see me. Come see me. Don't get out there and get all hot and wet and cold. Spend all your money, run up down and busting shit out. That's what this shit's for. You got it's free. You don't have to go nowhere. There ain't no cops there. Why aren't you up here? Why aren't you up here talking? Why y'all out there? Why the hell are you here, period? Just as a, yeah, they labeled that racist. I heard. The only racist I've seen are not us going, huh? What you doing here for? There's a reason we asked that. You want to do what with our law? You ever met an American before? You're just sweet as pie, huh? I'm just a little old weeping grandma over here. Bring it. I would adore that. I really would adore that. Seems to me that there's a lot of cowards running around. They don't seem to have the conviction of what they speak. If you have enough conviction to run your ass out there and screw with my colleges, universities, and what have you, and you want my law to change to suit you, get the hell out of my country. Racist that bitch. Bring it. Show me where my entire statement was wrong. I dare you. I do this about once a day. Nobody's ready to take on an aged hippie who drinks at her own bar by forenoon. Cowards. The ones I talk to actually are quite lovely people. And I just do that. See if any nuts will come out of the woodwork. We should know about these nuts. We're not finding out until these nuts have killed babies with knives. We're not finding out this shit till they've killed 3 or 4 people at a festival. A carnival, a festival. What the hell you want to name it? I don't care. There's a lot of folk getting drunk, eating food. And they're killing them with knives. So how many of you are going to start wearing swords? I have plenty. I really do. Come see me. Dirks, knives, swords. I've got them bitches. Mm-hmm. Yes. We even have a replica of William, the defender of Scotland. The Braveheart movie, William, who died. They captured him, tortured him. Yeah, that's what they did. They still do, but they don't really hear about that much. That's because your news stations are really political outlets. And if you haven't caught on to that, oh man, come see me. I will explain that to you if you haven't already Googled it and went, well, damn. I had a friend that did that. She didn't believe what I said about the American president who elected him. I said, it's not the people. It's not the people. It's the Electoral College. Yeah. Oh, damn. I had already quoted it verbatim. She was like, why don't we know this? I was like, good question. Well, probably because if you go into the school boards nowadays and say, I don't want my kid to be kneeling on a Muslim prayer mat, we're supposed to have a separation of state and religion. And the police is going to drive you out and hit you with tasers and all kinds of shit because they don't, you know what, yeah, you bad. Yeah. They got all kinds of labels for us like that. Yeah, I love that. Nothing stopped me from going to any of the school boards, straight over the president's head, whoever the principal, what have you. If I was pissed off, I went to the top. I didn't bother with them little mealy mouth yipping puppies at my knees. No, I did not. I don't have time for that. Life's short. Now, I know we protest. It's why I like to make myself the lady hippie because I did protest, and there is no point in racism, period. But if you have a black month, that's freaking racist. It's racist. It's racist to everybody in America. It's a melting pot. How come it's only a melting pot when it comes to people like you call it, non-color? Screw you. I'm going to say what the hell I always said. I'm not going to speak the language that you want me to speak. I've spoke the same language for 65 odd years. Get over it. I dare one of you to come up here. One of you. And if somebody got in my face with a megaphone, they would have it up their ass and need it surgically removed in about 1.0 seconds. and I'm old, so I carry equalizers. And there's some things I don't want to get my hands dirty on. I'm one of those grandmothers, hands on. So bring it. It would really make my whole year. And the year is sliding into another one already. So where are these people with their convictions that are out there spray painting shit and screaming in people's face? Like I said, I'm going somewhere and you get in my face and start screaming at me, you won't be there long. You'll be wondering what the hell happened and why you on the ground. And I'm a grandma. Again, I keep an equalizer. I always did. I'm from Chicago. Army vet, female. There's other labels, I'm sure. Oh, grandmother works. I have a 25-year-old Army veteran grandson as well. And I have a granddaughter. She's still not quite a teenager, although she's 30. Gee, thinks she's not far off. Pretty and smart as she's just, I can't think how smart she is. She should be a mentor. They wanted me to do the same thing, and I wouldn't do it. You can't be a 9-year-old kid and be doing college levels without somebody knocking on your damn door, even back then. And no, I wouldn't have none of that. And being an adopted child, I didn't have to. I had rights. Still had caseworkers, so they took care of that. You see the dimming. We have a light here. We have a chandelier. It's been here since we got into the home. We bought my son and his wife's starter home because they found out the new baby was coming, and their son was 13. So they wanted to buy a much bigger home that was being built right then in a new subdivision over another area of Augusta. And they couldn't do that unless the bank had this one, locked in. So they asked Dad, and Dad accused him. He said, okay. And I was like, this stuff never works out well. They hadn't been here but a couple of years by then. And I was like, you know, it's not good to buy or rent or what have you from relatives. It just doesn't end well. And I'm adopted. I should really know that more than anybody. But dads are dads. And so off we came. And I love it. I've loved every second I've been here. It surprised me. It really did. So I'm still speaking about that. I'm having plenty of my little stiffeners because, again, the back is screaming, really, bitch? You're doing what now? Oh. It feels like somebody's hitting me with, at first it starts out with like a slap, and then it moves on as if someone's hitting you with a plastic wiffle bat. And then it feels like somebody's striking you with a wooden bat, but not at full force, just a nice ping. And then it feels like somebody is hitting you over and over with a car. And I love the VA. Now, what is your pain level? Fuck you. Is that in there? Ask me again. I'm going to tell you the same shit. What's your pain level? Yeah, don't you want to do that? I really want to do that. So, because I've been going there since seeing doctors. Well, but mine retired, but I got a new one. So it's like almost 3 years with her. She knows it's all right there. They got to do their own shit anymore. I'll put it on the laptop, whatever they got to do themselves. They must have got rid of 50 people per doctor because this was one of my jobs. That was what I did, was transcribe all that data. So I wasn't real pleased to see that had been taken, although retired still. They've been doing it for about 5 years. But they know it's carried on to the next doctor, not to mention that doctors run around with the other doctor for like 4 weeks before they go bye-bye. I was getting in an RV and got further south. I don't blame her. Yeah, well, they were going to tour and see the world first. Now we have one of those big RVs. It's like a Wonder Lodge, one of those big RV. You got to tow your car behind you. Yeah, he's got one of those. And, and he said, "Well, why have they got their car? Well, you don't want to take that big bitch everywhere. You you want to slide in there and park that baby, and take the car off and go groceries, whatever have you to do." I'm looking forward to doing it. We have yet to do so. He's still repairing it. Somebody just took the door off, and it's been a nightmare trying to get that done. He's making his own door. Don't ask. It's a redneck thing. Jeff Foxworthy can help you out with that. I can't. It's been almost 40 years. Never made a lick of sense to me. Not rednecks, no. And these guys are all Native American rednecks, which is like double bad. So the only relatives I have here are my son and my grandchildren. That's it. I have stepchildren. Well, I have stepdaughter and step grandchildren, and I adore them. But as far as direct lineage, and I didn't want kids, so it could have just been done. But I had my son, and I was like, I still don't want kids. He's been a very good son. He really has. He's taken care of me way more years than I took care of him. And he's a great guy. He's a great father. He's a great husband. So, I'm very, very proud of him. He's already won medals and so forth and so on. I think his clearances are much higher than even mine were. And mine weren't nothing to sneeze at. Neither here or in DC. I mean, it was. It's fun when guys in suits and briefcases come in a room where you've been sequestered and tell you, "Did you know you were adopted?" No, really. That's what they did to me. I just turned 18, and I was headed for clearances by then. And yeah, I was like, I got above my. No, really. You got something to say there, boy? I was a smart ass all my life, but I can remember it. I can remember most of it. It's kind of traumatic things get stuck in your head, and then you build around them, and other people build around. So if you don't have an actual memory of it, you have the story to back up this memory that you really don't have. A lot of people say you should write a book. I did. I had it published. I wrote a book, had it published. So I did that, and we were the first company of women to train with the men. We did not know that. We went in as WAGs. We were sequestered. The entire company of women, most of them had come in just under the wire, but they did not know they weren't going to be whacked. None of us did. And I still say they changed that shit on the plane on the way over. I didn't have a clue. I got off and I heard them say South Carolina. I was like, whoa, oh shit. Because I was going to Fort McClellan in Alabama. And first time I'd ever been away from home other than whatever it was going on when I was younger. I didn't go to friends' houses, didn't do any of that stuff. Very naive young lady. Very naive. Wearing a suit I made myself. Brand new luggage that I'd worked for, so I could get that now. All the stuff they said to bring, because as a whack, you have to bring stuff. It turns out, as regular army, you don't quite need all that stuff. And those who are larger get smaller. Those of us who are tiny, almost microscopic, we get big. I loved it. There's a story behind that's pretty cool too. Guy didn't recognize me. I was bent over a pool table. You could take it from there. It was a really good lead. Never said I was an innocent. I'm not bad, I hope. That'd be between me and my God. The rest of you have to answer to your own, and let's hope so. That most of you don't believe in that 72 version thing because why would you need it in heaven? It's heaven. It's heaven. Is that what your heaven is? My heaven is peace on earth, everybody liking each other, everybody getting along, have a reason to enjoy the day when you get up, smell coffee. I can still remember what it smelled like in the spring when you woke up. The first spring, when it first moved in, that very first morning, you'd wake up and just out of bed and play clothes, jump through and make yourself some cereal and get out there and nobody's up. That happened to me a lot. I'd run out that door. Nobody was awake. Most of them didn't get up till noon. They had they had TV. They had color TVs. They had air conditioning. We didn't have any of that. We had one small black and white TV, 3 channels. We were the antenna out the window. We were the channel changer. We were everything. Now, mind you, when nighttime fell, that's the only time you could watch it because you got home, you had homework, you had all this other stuff. We were very regimented, but Dad and Mom were World War IIers. They didn't do things by halves. They did, and shout out, Mom, Dad, love y'all. And I miss them to this day. And they were older, of course, when we were adopted. They already had a 13-year-old son who is a great big brother. He was adopted, but was actually their nephews as well. So he was a direct tie of the bloodline. And so my adopted mother did get to have grandkids and be with them for 10, 12 years before she passed on too. Um, the father, not so much. He drank too much, and he went to the other side pretty quick after he retired. I don't think it was 2 years. I knew that when he retired. I knew that, and I actually went with him down where they retired for a year just to be with them. And I couldn't go active duty anyway until I was 17, and I wasn't quite 17, and so I ended up going back to school senior year just to have something to do, because the place had nothing. They had nothing. We didn't even. I had Dad's car. You couldn't drive Dad's car. He didn't believe women drive it. Very, very old-fashioned man. And I had a permit, but no car to drive. You weren't trying to. You didn't even think about asking him for the keys. You didn't think about asking him if you could drive anything, even if it was your own bicycle. He was kind of mean. You didn't pull the stunts these kids do today. They had company. They didn't have to tell us to be gone. If you were seen, you best not be hurt. You best be going through. I'm just playing through to the back door. I mean, they could make you feel that big in front of everybody. Everybody would stop and look. Now, when I was young, they were also, in their 50s, 60s. And so they used to have parties, of course, and especially I call them high holidays like this one, Labor Day weekend, when the whole family would come meet them and they would be grilling out and so forth. One of the reasons was our parents were the only ones that had the home in suburbia. The rest of them lived in Chicago, um, Grove Park, different places, but they all pretty much had apartments. And so they just didn't have a lot of room. We had this huge place, lots of space, and Dad had even bought the property beside us, which was the same footprint. He had bought it because he wanted to put a pool out there, and then he found out how much they were going to charge him. I mean, the city and the county and the state to be able to have the pool per year. He decided he didn't need that. So we didn't have a pool. We had a sprinkler or a hose, some water balloons. We had a great time. We did. And these kids, like this. And it's not just them. It's not just my children are the same way now, and they're in their middle 40s. My stepdaughters, well, uh, their children are in their 20s. Yeah, and thank God it's neither my stepchildren or my step grandchildren or my grandchildren have children. Yeah, not looking forward to that great grandma title. I'm not so sure. I know my little Zoe, she would be a great mom, but who wants her to be? Because your life is fairly tight. My son, I drag him around the world. He is still not happy with me. I knew a lot of kids like that, and we didn't think too much about it. We were making a living, going to college because they changed something again, and this kind of thing. And so we didn't put much into that. He was a latchkey kid. He used to make my dinner because I'd be playing through it to a job or, I didn't have any time. I barely had time to sleep. I mean, 4 or 5 hours. It wasn't much time at all, in between jobs and colleges. And they sure didn't give us a break on the shit we had to pay for. At least my first one, I did have help on the GI Bill. But then the Clintons took all of our benefits away unless we had been injured in a field of war. So then with the VA, our hospital, everything was gone, and it was back to Blue Shield. Oh, is that crushing or what, folks? And you're paying out the ass for the stuff. And unless you're really, really sick, you're not going to the doctor. Although now they have the wellness checkup. In our day, if you went for a wellness checkup, even your friends would bitch slap you. You have too much money. You didn't do that. You had to be near death, even though you're paying like $180 a month. No, you're not doing it. Who could miss work? Who could miss college if you went in and if you were that sick? And no, too many times I've been stuck in a hospital and my entire life went south. I'm gone for like 5, 6 days, and damn, am I gonna what? You're kidding me. No, I'm not kidding. Once I was in ICU for 2 weeks, trying to die of pneumonia, kind of the thing that was going on with COVID. And that's when they first started using the Z-Pack, zithromycin, which is what worked on COVID, by the way, guys. It's also why I said I'm actually almost a vet. I could be if I had a license. I could pass the test. Most of the things I had started to say for those who are four-legged friends or what have you are transferable over from people and vice versa. I know one of the things to use is gabapentin, Lyrica, in today's world. I could go on. It's just like they had a problem because these horse pills, as they were calling them, could be used. Like Joe Rogan, hey, see you, Joe, love you. some people took that, and it aided them. The Z-Pack, I still call it the Z-Pack. That's what they called it back then. It was experimental. I had to sign permission for them to try to use me as a guinea pig. Who cared? I was like that far from a respirator and a medical coma. You're gonna fight on a respirator. I've been in and around medical my whole life, and that's scary. You know what's going on. They can't really kind of just walk around it. You already know. They don't have to tell you. They don't like that. Doctors they want to be like magicians. Nobody knows their secret. I think the other thing that's in if anybody's working for history here, that the pharmaceutical companies that have sprung up, these were all called snake oils 100 years ago. They didn't have, oh, they had patents, but they had things like cocaine that addicted you to it, and morphine that addicted to you, and opium that you were addicted to. They even made the Coca Cola out of out of the cocaine, make you feel good. Shit, yeah. Well, no wonder my adopted father would not allow us to have any product with cola in it. Not Pepsi Cola, none of the colas. We had knee highs, the fruit knee highs. That's all he would allow. And he was so right. And I hope he shout out to him. I hope Everett learned that when he got to the other side, that he was still there when everybody figured that shit out, because he was already past it, I think. In any event, yeah. So yeah, it's a different thing. But now we let them. They become the big pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, they're still ripping your ass off, just like they were 150 years ago. You called them snake oil peddlers. Look it up. Google has everything. I don't know. I'm like Bing, but good luck. You can try it there too. If I've lost you somewhere, just comment. I've got live chat on right this minute. I'll be happy to tell you what I'm talking about or where you can go find it. And I reckon for most folk, that does not have to be a thing. I see it all the time. People drop videos, as they call it, and they react. Oh, and I do like him. I like Casper Sight. He's what they call a reactor now. I've been one of his subscribers for years. And I like all the paranormal ones. Twin Paranormal is also one of my favorites. Dark Ghost. He's a Russian boy. I like him. There's just several. So they do their own. They, they get there. They talk about what they're doing, or they show you the video of what they did. Most of them, other than Casper Sight, do not pick up videos and then talk through them or talk after them. Although there are a lot of those too. But there's also a lot of them like me that get up here. We opine about whatever the hell crosses our mind. We don't like it changed. As far as calling me a racist, to just bring it. I get bored. No, not really, but it'd still be fun. Nobody's racist because they say with the truth. Irregardless if that truth is not somebody else's truth, it's their truth. And they're allowed to have that truth. That's why they call it America. Just checking. It is, they say, the United States. And again, a history lesson. They didn't call it the United States till the end of the Civil War, and they had to bring the Union back together again, the North versus the South. Which, by the way, is not a war that you think was fought over, although it was a good byproduct. The North did not allow slavery. So they had that all along. So, no, that wasn't the problem with the war. Study it further. They've done quite a lot of good books on politicians from that era, their lives, those around them. You will find it very insightful. Take George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, two presidents, early presidents. Actually, George Washington, they wanted to call King Washington, and he wouldn't allow that. Although I see he didn't mind the Washington, D.C. district, which, by the way, I don't think was quite ready when he was still in office. It was still Philadelphia. A lot was going on in New York as well. Remember, guys, we were 13 colonies, although Georgia was one of them. Georgia could about fit the other 12 in it. It's that big. But that's the North and the Southern War. It wasn't what it's made out to be in some cases. Um, there was a reason that they took the South. And then they carpetbagged the rest of it that they didn't burn down. They made it the North, just in the South. And I hear that. I've been to transplant, as I call it, for 30 odd years, and I hear that a lot. And I'm like, I kind of get it, because I just adopt whatever is right here, but I'm still a Northerner. And I don't think about that occasionally until it comes out to be glaringly obvious. In particular, our accents and how we look at things. Things from the north, certain things are completely viewed differently than the people view them in the south. It's almost like Britain. What's a good example? A good example would be your trunk of your car. They call it the boot of your car. You call cookies cookies, and they call them biscuits. And that's just a few. I think the other reason they don't really drink a lot of coffee is that they drink tea, besides having India and a few other places. But I think most of that was because they didn't want to be like the Americans. Everything the Americans say, they don't do it the same way. They don't say it the same way. I got my mother, the adopted mother. She was so funny about it. She couldn't say aluminum. She said aluminium. And until I went to Europe, I had no idea that Europeans called aluminum aluminium. And that's just a couple examples. There's just a ton of them there. They call a cell phone or a satellite phone a mobile phone. That's it. It's a mobile phone. So just little tidbits there, I should say. And they're not different. They are no different than we are. I don't care what country you go to, but those who speak English, in particular the Britons, seem to have made sure that they didn't have the same thing, like ready, set, go in the United States. And in Britain, it's ready, steady, go. It's close. It's just tweaked a little bit. And I found that fascinating when I got over there. I was like, oh my God. Because the first thing I found out was that they spoke aluminium in that vernacular. And in America, of course, it's aluminum. And actually, aluminum is better. But I had to call home and I had to let the adopted mom know. I was like, Ma, you would not believe. She really floored her, though, because she was born and raised in Southern Illinois. She had never been out of the United States. The furthest she had been was California, which is where her husband was sent out to the Pacific, in particular to Pearl Harbor. So, yeah, he was a hero. He had medals. He was something. He wouldn't talk about anything about the war, though. Nothing. He did not talk about war. So that's the kind of parents I had, and I think a lot of that stuck. Um, and the discipline that I always had, just the way I was, Virgo, and most Virgos are like that. Things steady and same places, and we're very routine, and we're very bossy. I gotta admit, we're really bossy, as you can tell. So again, I get up here and I say whatever the hell I want to say, unless you guys have something different, because it's all for entertainment purposes only. The really cool part is you don't have to sit here and pay for this stuff. Yet you can get up here and say the truth. And the old saying is true: the truth will set you free. If you can't get up there and say, yeah, there's there's something wrong with any country coming in with immigrants, migrants, asylum workers, however moniker you want to give them, and they're too busy instead of learning the place, loving the place that gave them asylum, what have you. They're out there killing the little girls going to dance recitals, and they're being protected by the same government that said they could come in and left their military veterans in the streets. And that's not just true here; it's true in Canada, Britain, France, yeah, everywhere. And Europe wasn't it was embroiled in the same wars that the United States were. It just wasn't pointing out to the citizens of the United States very well. Put it that way. It's the military. It's how it works. I was out there for the 6 a.m. briefing every day when they was doing that shit with Gulf Storm. Love that. Didn't last long. First time I'd ever heard of a war that said we will be there on April 13th at approximately 04:35. Well, no, 4:36. You may not think this funny, but I think it's highly freaking funny. If you're pissed off at me, do let me know the same things. You're going to be here at such and such for such and such at this time. My ass be ready. What? They had to be ready, I suppose. But that's the other bitch. Just nobody left. Nobody left. They're just sitting there. Well, the bad guys left with all the money and shit. It's like Afghanistan for what 20 years. That place is one that it breaks nations if you attack. Nobody has ever in the history of mankind that we know of has ever won in Afghanistan. It is the breaker of empires, and it is. It didn't help Britain and the United States and so forth to be out there. No, we shouldn't have ever been there. Nobody could ever give me a reason as to why we were there. Some cool ass stories come out though, and some pretty cool videos about the jinn. Yes, I know. People probably don't know that word, or they know just genie. I dream of genie, whatever, from my generation. No, the jinn are real. We call them demons, and I believe that works both ways. Demons and angels. That's what they call them. And they got some shit on some video. I'll tell you what. Now they got some stuff that you know something out there. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's where they from. So they're gonna call it gin. Cheers. Mm. God, that's good. I love that fireball. I haven't had those lately. Probably 30 years. That's good. My husband found those for me. I'm gonna have to live down to two. He gets me. They come in this plastic wrap. It's like 12 or so. I think you brought me four last time. It's like great. I'm good for a month. I won't rake I won't rogue the whiskey and stuff. I bet. It depends on my day. I did stop kind of moving about in the chair, but not really. It's kind of muffling that pain a little bit, and my time is almost up. I try never to go over an hour because I could do this all day. I have others that say to me, "How do you get there and do that?" It's like this. It's a stiff nerve. It's what it's for. I do it because I want to be heard. I want somebody to get up here and tell me, "Oh, this is not right about killing children. This does have to stop. They have to start speaking English. They don't have to go to a church, but they don't need 500 mosques in one city when there's two churches. That they should not be able to take, and I just saw this in the news, they should not be able to take a church and make it into a Muslim place of worship, a mosque. They're fighting that right now. The Church of England, mind you, it's not separation of church and state in the United Kingdom like it is in the United States. There is no separation of church and state. The state is the church is the state. It's synonymous. I mean, there's no getting around that. Now they have the Magna Carta. They don't have a constitution, they have the Magna Carta because they are ruled by a monarchy, which we all know. So it's different. The monarchy can't quite come out and say, oh, I'm going to take this, and that from you. Not since they beheaded Charles the First, anyway. I know the history. Look it up. You're not going to find that in school. You're not going to find that in college. You're not going to find that in freaking university. Do your own shit. Stop waiting for somebody to show you that shit. If you need the degree, fine. Go up there and be bored for 4 years and pay, $200,000 unless they forgive your debt too. They owe me a lot of freaking money. So yeah, this is a medium to learn everything, to see everything, do everything. You don't have to leave your fracking house. This is what I keep saying. You want to protest some shit? Bring it. Come talk to somebody on the other side. We call it a fracking debate. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. They feel this way. You feel that way. Go. That. If they can't attack you because you're a racist against their color, their religion, whatever the hell they got to be in the bonnet for, then they can't have this little bitch fest because they have not one leg to stand on. They do not have the courage of conviction in their words. They do not. There might be one or two, and they're dead wrong. Pick one. All right, get over it. That's why my husband doesn't have these. They go out. I've had this one for like 3 days. And I don't buy my own. He buys them for me. I will tell him, honey, I'm down to like one of my little cigars. You can see you're good for 3 days, right? Well, it's a good husband. So again, that's my statement as to why I do this. Even when I asked my daughter-in-law, she couldn't stop herself from just giggling and then trying to stuff food in her face because she really stepped in it. I don't think she's a fan. She is a subscriber. She's not a fan. But she was really good at not saying so. She's good at that. I've known this child since she was a teenager. My son's going to be 45, so you could do the math. A long time. I've known her for a long time. Still don't understand her for shit. I loved her to pieces, but I don't get her for a second, which is cool. Great mother, great wife, awesome lady all the way around. I mean, it's not like I don't love this child. I do. I've been around her, like I said, her whole life, just about. By the time she recognized she had a life, I was in it. Poor kid. She got a good husband now. My son is an exceptional young man. He really is. And so are the kids. Now, his first child, who's 25 and an Army veteran, is by a different young lady. His wife and he have Zoe, the little 12-year-old. That's why they bought the big new house and all that. And they could. Finally, they'd gone through college and gotten their feet planted, and they're doing great. I'm really proud of all of them. Step kids, step grandkids, great kids. Everybody's doing great. My granddaughter's not so happy. She's 12. I was happy at 12. I was happy the whole way through. I can't remember until I had my son that because it was so much of trying to, and then I couldn't keep staying in the military because I had to leave to go to Korea and I couldn't take him, and I refused to sign his life over to someone else. So I made the decision of quitting, and that still bothers me today. I had no intention of leaving the military until I retired, but I had a kid, and you have choices to make when you have children. So then I proceeded to walk him around the whole planet. Before he was born in Germany, before I had to make the decision, for a couple of years before I had to make the decision about Korea. And it turns out that his grandmother, who I would have been signing him over to, and I did not know her from Adam, never even spoke to the woman, um, she would have kept him. So I was right to listen to my instinct at the worst, lowest point at that time of my life to walk away from the military. It scared the piss out of me too. And I was still very naive, even though I had a child to take care of, no husband. You couldn't call that man a husband. Well, the law did. I did. Another story. Then maybe I should write about it. You just keep going out, drives me crazy. But I'm about to sign off and go get busy again. People are cute. I have a lot of people, including my grandson. Like I said, 25 is gone. But they say, you don't like people, Grandma. Yeah, it's a general rule now. I've been right every damn time. I don't know why I should change that opinion now. I mean, I like folk, just don't come by my house much because I probably won't like you after about 3 days. There are reasons. I'm not mean. I'm not judgmental. I'm not none of those things. But I'm not going to allow somebody to use me like a dish rag. And they all try to do that. Because if you have kindness towards someone, 9 out of 10 will try to exploit that kindness in their behavior to further their own whatever they're doing. Not because you've been kind and they should reciprocate, but because you've been kind and they can take advantage of. So that's why I say he's kind of right about that. I'm very leery about people. And still, I get screwed over. You'd think I would learn. Nope, not so much. My husband says, you don't walk like a girl. You march. Dude, I was 17. I was in the Army, in the regular Army with Vietnam Airborne Rangers. If we would have tried to sashay anything, they'd have been on us like white on rice. And they were anyway. We did everything we could not to attract any attention from anybody. We didn't even want to piss off a pissant. I'll put it that way. Just walk around it. Had to run everywhere for that first 6-8 weeks. It was fun. And I thought I was in shape, karate and all that, a gymnast. Was I ever wrong? Oh, I would have been great shape for the WAC training. I'd have been fine in that. Regular Army and shooting folks and hitting grenades and taking out machine gun, not so much. A lot of training there. And you either bend till you're broke. Nobody's breaking my ass. I might bend a little till I find a way to get around your ass and send your shit back to you. I think it's a Chicagoan thing, or maybe an adoptee thing, because I wasn't a young chick, but I was adopted. So, if those of you out there see me today for the first time, please come see me. It's social Woodstock. It's free. We should be out there going, we don't like this. This is wrong. Why are they taking our money? Why do they take your Medicaid out of your Social Security when you pay Medicaid and Medicare taxes your entire working career? You get Social Security, they automatically enroll you in Medicaid for $174 a month. That's like, oh no, wait a goddamn minute. Nope. I'm seen by the VA. I'm not taking it. $179 a month. That's your check, and you got no saying in it. And they don't use the Medicaid, Medicare that they took. Where the hell's that money? Mm-hmm. Probably the same place your insurance money is. You ever get any money back from your insurance company? How much you pay a year? 1,000, 2,000 to working for? Mm-hmm. So in 30,000 years, or say 30 years, you get 30,000 in. Both, we'll add both insurances, your car insurance, your house insurance, and your own physical insurance, so that you can be seen by a doctor for the past 4 decades. How much you reckon that cost? How much you think you would have had you not paid those? Anybody remember the Roaring '20s? That was the last time you had all that stuff. They did take that out. They were never supposed to, by the way, tax any person's wages. It's in the Bill of Rights. Check it. Please check it. I knew a guy who had gone to court. He was a lawyer. He never paid taxes again. His mom never paid taxes again. His siblings never paid taxes again. He even gave me a pile of paperwork this big. So you go for it. Well, if you've got money, you can do that. If you don't have money, well, it's not so easy. And I've been my own attorney more than once and won. That's not the point. You have to pay. Yes. There's no justice system in this planet. You have to pay somebody. If you have to pay somebody, there's no justice. And when it's justice this way for one group, justice this way for another group, you have no justice. But here is an equalizer, right here. We all have an equalizer. We all have it free. They can't take it away from you. Yet. And they will. It's what they do. If they decide that somebody might listen to you and actually go, well, damn, we don't have to do that. You mean we don't have to have these 500 migrants stealing our cattle? And we don't need all these tent cities? How do we? Because you're labeled a racist, labeled, labeled a racist. I'm thinking about 2 other things, which you can tell with stiffener. In any event, you're not racist if you disagree with the law in principle. I'm not saying go out and shoot your fellow neighbor because they pissed you off the dog shit on the lawn. I'm just saying there's no justice, and there really ought to be. And this is a great tool for all the above. I saw several different documentaries recently, and these were all made by streaming YouTube, Instagram, so forth, in particular about Saudi Arabian women leaving Saudi Arabia and trying to get asylum in Australia, Canada. They've already got their visas, their passports, and the family goes after them, in particular Saudi Arabia, which is lots of oil money. And the prince, the royal prince, or maybe he's king now, supreme king, I'm not sure, big guy, literally, said, oh, we're letting women drive. I saw the documentary on a woman who got her license. She did great. And they took that shit away because women can't drive. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They looked like these girls were getting their licenses and stuff. I didn't get to use them. And then it's my stint to say I got to go because I can't hardly breathe today. So be good, be kind. Treat everybody like you want them to treat you. And hit the like. Doodles.